Okay, we're at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to Platform Analytics Academy on March 6th. Glad that you decided to join us. I've heard some people say they spend lunch with us. So if you're spending lunch with us or breakfast or even dinner, then we definitely appreciate that. So I'm going to go through a couple quick things from a logistical standpoint, and then we'll get directly into our content. So as usual, this is always for you. We try as hard as we can to bring fresh ideas, better understanding, and practical guidance to everything related to performance analytics, reporting, platform analytics, those things. And today we're going to do that as well. This is being recorded as usual. It will be out into the community later on today or tomorrow morning, latest. Also out in our YouTube channel. So sit back, relax, enjoy, watch. Notes aren't necessary because you'll be able to watch it again. But if you're a note person, I totally get that as well. Q&A, please ask questions. If you could utilize the Q&A rather than the chat, we'd be really grateful with that. We do have other panelists that are on the call that will be able to answer questions via type if that is possible. If we need to field a question that is related to where we are in the content, then we'll definitely stop the presenter and do that as well. So safe harbor. So definitely want to bring this up. I don't know if there's anything in there in this presentation today, but I think it's always a good idea to have this up front. That way you're aware and, just make sure that no financial decisions are made off of anything that we show you today. And today, I am Thomas Davis, and we have Olga, who's going to be here to present and show some demo, I'm sure. So super happy to have her around. And then, of course, as well, my cohorts will be here. I know that Dan is here now. Tara may be off, but Adam may show up at some point. But in any case, Dan and I will have all the questions. We can handle that. And like I said, if we need to stop Olga as she is going, we'll definitely do that as well. So today we're going to talk about something that is new, and it is dashboard caching. So hopefully we'll be able to give you some guidance today and some thoughts around a different way of looking at things and a new thing that is in the platform that can help you out with that. So with that, I'll definitely pass it over to Olga if you are ready.
Thank you, Thomas. So today we'll talk about the improvements for the dashboard, which we do by introducing the caching. Something that hopefully some of you are interested if you join this session, and we'll go through this today for you to understand what it is, why you want it, how you can enable it, and maybe we'll get some feedback along the way. So first, starting with understanding the problem. So we heard from some customers that some dashboard could be slow. The more business is growing, the more data we collecting, the slower it became. Sometimes we make a very complicated query for good or bad reasons, and just the experience could be slow. Or even if the data is not so heavy, and individual chart maybe loads pretty fast. Some of you might notice that people like to put a lot of charts on the dashboard. Again, I don't say that it's a good practice, but that's life. And if you add like 20 visualization on the same dashboard, overall experience can be still a bit slow just by loading all of it. The other reasons, hopefully when you create dashboards in the organizations, it's not individual dashboards, but they're shared across the org. A lot of people looking at the same dashboards around the same time. And what happens now, if 20 people look at the same dashboard or 100 in the morning, they look at the same data, but they will do the same query. Each of them will do the same query again and again. So it's not really optimal load on the server, plus each of them have to wait extra while data is, the system knows the answer and can provide it to all users at the same time. The other things related to the above, it could be kind of slow to navigate from the dashboard. You drill down to the list, you want to go back. Every time you go back to the dashboard, it renders again. So meaning you have to run the same query again, even though you don't always need it. You could be okay with having data which is 5 minutes old or 10 minutes old, sometimes even older. And also some of the reasons which we heard, if the dashboard is a little bit slower than you want, you're not very comfortable using this dashboard to present in the meeting, especially if it's a big meeting with very important stakeholders whose time is very valuable. You don't want to spend extra 30 seconds, even 20 seconds looking at the loading screen. And instead of showing directly data from the instance itself, you have to create a bunch of PowerPoints and just to show stale data. And whenever there's any question asked, you cannot go and show real data behind it. Thomas, can we have some quick poll?
Yep.
So just get some interactions. Do you have any slow dashboard in your organization? And when I say slow, it's whatever it's mean for you slow. It's if for you is 2 minutes slow, it's slow. If for you 30 seconds slow, it's slow. If it's 10 seconds slow, it's slow. Whatever you want to be faster. It's happening. So we are not very wrong on the defining the problem. And just a quick follow-up question.
Get it here.
We have put a second poll. If you know, again, the dashboards which you consider slow, are they based on the table data reports? Are they based on the PA widgets? Is it the combination of both? Or you don't really know? Yeah, we have around 42% which are based on the reports, a little bit on the PA widgets, and a quarter of both. So it's a good number. Thanks a lot for participating in that survey. So let's look what we have done in our first iteration. So we are talking about the next experience dashboards because we want all of you to start moving, of course. So we added a new setting on the dashboard level. Anybody who has an edit access will be able to configure it. It's a setting to enable data cache. And you can also define the maximum time of the cache expiration, so how long this cache can be valid. So when the cache, so this is settings will be available, will be applied for the table-based data as of now, with a safe harbor, which Thomas shared nicely with us. We are working to apply it for the other data source types in the next iterations, but as of now, since we also assume that the biggest problem is with the table-based data, it will be, we're first addressing table query because they could be quite hard to optimize. And going forward, we'll do it for the any data in the future. So you can choose the time. So it could be from 1 hour to 24 hours. These options we have by default. Whenever the first time the dashboard is loaded, we will save the response to the query, to the cache, based on the query itself. So if the same user or any other users running exactly the same queries for the exactly same visualizations, we don't have to run it again as long as the cache age is not exceeding this cache expiration time. And we will very fast show the data again. Again, we are checking all the securities and we're making sure it's exactly the same query. So if it's different time zone and you have filter based on the date, it will be different query. If you have dynamic queries like manager is me and two different managers are looking, it will be a different query. So it's exactly, we make sure it's the same query. We make sure you have permissions to see the data. And then we very fast bring you the results. We have a very clear indication here that the data is cached. If data is coming from the cache, we indicate it. As long as on the tooltip, you will see that how old the cache is. We also will have a possibility to have on top of the dashboard overall information that how old is the data. If you enable it, we'll show it shortly. And any user who is consuming the dashboard, so they see the data coming from cache, they see it faster, but if they at any point they want fresh data, newer data, they will be able to click refresh of the dashboard and get fresh data. So it's not something like with the PA, you have this job which collects daily, and there's no way for the regular user to get fresher data until the job runs. In this case, it's just like by default, you get data from cache, it's available. And if not, we'll quickly, you can request the fresher data at any point of time. Looking quickly at the question, do you have any questions?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, if they're relevant, or if you're going to end up talking about it. So
I think like especially one that's will the cache the results of reports?
Yeah, so it's exactly what is what we're storing the response of the technical to the more technical user response of the API. So it's exactly what you pass to the data, the aggregated information, right? So we have the aggregated information based on the key is the filter query, the query of the visualization. We link it unique to this visualization to this specific dashboard.
Okay.
And
so it's regardless of data source, basically, we're saying here, then, right? It's whether it's a table query or an indicator, or
it is currently for the table based, right?
Table queries only. Okay.
So it's data source is table. So in the classic terms, it's reports, right? Not PA widgets, right? If that visualization based on the table data source, then.
And they're the ones that would have potentially the most performance problems anyway.
Yeah, this is the one which could be slow because the performance analytic indicators is already pre-aggregated, right? So it could be slower. I know that there are some users who experience problems in the classic dashboards with the performance analytics, which is especially time series sometimes slow if you have a lot of data stored. This problem will automatically solve once you migrate to the next experience because we don't load all the data automatically. If you show only last 21 days or 3 months or 6 months, we only load this data. So your dashboard with time series widget will automatically be a bit faster. And as mentioned, we will be working in the future to enable this functionality for any data visualization.
Yeah, and Dan, if you want to go with that other one, because there's 3 of them that are similar to that.
Kind of similar, yeah. Oh, another question about who can set the cache? Can individual non-admins set the cache?
So it's per dashboard, right? So since it's per dashboard, any user who has edit rights on the dashboard
for
their dashboard to enable cache, right? If I create a dashboard just for myself and I say like, hey, I don't care that data are not absolutely real time when I load it. It's okay if it's like a few hours delayed or if it's maybe 1 day delayed because it's more of the technical dashboard. I can just set it for myself, and then it will apply for all the users of this dashboard, right? So it's pretty much a settings which is available for anybody who have edit rights to the dashboard.
So related question to that is, if one of the people who can edit the dashboard overrides the cache and then reloads, does the cache also reload and update?
So if you disable cache, so somebody enabled it and you go, I don't like it. You have edit rights, you disabled it. So next time when you open dashboard, we just don't check the cache, right? Cache could be still there in the table of the cache, in technical terms, right? It will clean up automatically based on the expiration time. If it's 24 hours, it will clean up in 24 hours automatically. It's still there. We just don't check it anymore. Like if you disable cache, we don't check it anymore. So it's again applies to all the users of the dashboard.
Then one other related to that is you keep mentioning that's at the dashboard level. Is that really the whole dashboard and not a particular visualization or even a tab?
Yeah. So at this moment, we are doing it on the dashboard level, and it's also to avoid confusion that like, hey, some of the tabs are on the like every widget has a different time. That will be very, very complicated. We wanted to make it a bit simple, so there's entire dashboard, so it's kind of applied to all the widgets on the dashboard. We are open for the feedback though, right? It's not a technical limitation, it's a choice because we didn't want to make it too confusing. We want you to start using it, see how it goes. If you want more flexibility, please share feedback with us so we can improve the functionality in the future. We want to hear your use cases, why you want it more flexible, what level of flexibility do you need? And I will come a little bit during the demo itself. I will go a bit further into it. Maybe we can go a little bit in the demo and then pick up questions from there. Maybe you will.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Yeah, some of them might be answered there.
There is possibility to configure it per visualization on the technical dashboards and in the UI builder. So that we have the flexibility there, but a standard inline dashboard, for now, we made a choice to do it dashboard level setting.
Hey, and then one last question, because it's in there 3 times, and then you can move forward. This is in Washington, correct? Not Vancouver?
I will have the whole slide for it. It's a store release on top of the Washington. So only customers who are already upgraded to Washington will be able to, with 2 plugin updates, will be able to use it. And I will cover exactly how to get access to this functionality.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
So when should you consider using it? So first of all, like if you have a strategic or tactical dashboard or any pretty much other dashboard which doesn't require to see live data. So if it's not operational dashboard where you're tracking the critical, like the instance that the side down or like anything critical, right? If it's backlog, even if it's operational, but it's more of a backlog, you should consider using it. If your dashboard you feel like your dashboard is slow, you should consider using it. I don't say that if something is slow, your first thought should be just enable cache and ignore it. It's a choice. You should also check with your admin if you can optimize the query, and all the things which you did before to improve performance, it still should be done. This is like if you don't have access to your admin to solve it, or you don't know how to solve it, or you just tried everything and nothing helps to solve it more. You want it faster, you should consider improving it. And I will also go a little bit in the what if you have just few widgets on the dashboards which are critical, and the rest you can live with to be a little bit cached, how to achieve that. And again, if you have too many reports on your dashboards, on your tab, and for some reason you don't want to split it by tabs, again, we do recommend it to split it by tabs and don't have too much of a scroll time, just even for the usability purposes itself. But there's different reasons why maybe your stakeholder wants it this way or any other reason. And you feel like it's slow to get all these widgets, consider enabling cache. It will get much faster. So let's quickly look into it. So as mentioned, it's part of the Platform Analytics dashboards. So once you upgrade it to the Washington, you will have, instead of Workspace, your next experience dashboards can be found in the Platform Analytics dashboards. So I created a dashboard which is very slow. My team helped me a lot to make it super slow, so it looks like 2 minutes. I did enable cache right away on it. I will show later how slow it is, so you trust me, because it was painful to watch. I do hope that your dashboards, and this is how it loads with cache. It was very fast. I can reload it again just to see. Normally it would load like 2+ minutes, depending on how busy the server is. You can see right away that it's I have a setting here. I have this icon which indicated that its data is not real time, a little bit clock item with back in time. It says that the data is last refreshed 9 hours ago. I did enable the setting here to enable cache data, and it's valid for 24 hours. I also enabled on my dashboard to show refresh information. That's why I have the setting. So it's optional. You can show it, you can hide it. I find it helpful because it right away shows me that how all data is, especially when you enable the cache, but also for your regular dashboards to have the setting on. And every chart itself, you can see it have which has data coming from the cache, has this icon, and on hover, I can see how old the data is. Just for the sake of it, we can. So if I apply the filter, for example, if I apply filter. Like for the critical, somebody already checked it. Okay, it was me for the full transparency. So it's also cached. You can see the data is still available. But if I choose, let's say, any other, the high priority, I didn't get yet I didn't run this query yet. So there's no cache available for this query. So you can see it's loading. And you can see it's slow because we tried very hard to make it slow and put a lot of data and very inoptimal query. Maybe I shouldn't have made it so slow, but you see the point. But once it's loaded, whenever next users will run the same query, the cache is already there, so it will be available. And you can see the data is coming. It's not coming from the cache, so you see that this the icon is. Once I get the data, I don't have this icon anymore. This meaning that it's a data as of now. So, and if I again clear the filter, again I go back to my cache. If I want to drill down and go back, I don't have to wait again the same 2 minutes or 30 seconds, depending how slow your dashboard, and I get this information right away. In case maybe I want to have for the critical incidents, I do want to have them kind of real time. It's really not okay to have them so delayed. If it's like what you can do in this case, if you want your dashboard to get this benefit of faster load and use a cache, you pretty much don't mind for most of your widgets to be a little bit with delay by default. What you can do is enable, and it can only be done for the single scores at the moment, right? You can put on top some single scores with real-time information, so you can enable the real-time update for the widgets. And first time we'll have to load a bit again because it's slow. So this widget will be real-time. And you will have this icon. So it's a record watcher. If you're familiar with the one, it's also like in the classic dashboard, we had this enable real-time settings on the widget. So this is the same setting, so just a bit new icon. So you can see it's live. So whenever the new critical is coming, it will just update even if the dashboard is open because it's just watching it. You don't even need to manually update it. And you will know for your critical information, you have always live data, even more live than the regular report is really connected to the record watcher and will update you when something is changed. But for anything that not real time, it will be there. And if you decide like, hey, I need something happened, I need data now, you can again click the refresh. You can do it directly per widget if you just need it for one widget, or for the entire dashboard, and it will go and get fresh data, and kind of the cache is updated for everybody.
So just to confirm, Olga, then if you have real-time turned on for a visualization, just single score, you said at this point, that the caching doesn't override that. It'll still act as a real-time.
Yeah, if real-time is enabled, real-time, we have also settings for some single scores. Real time is not supported, and we have the settings of live update, which is like update every like X seconds or every X minutes. We have it like if it's based on the database views or there's few use cases. For those kind of settings, the caching will always be ignored. Even if the caching is enabled on the dashboard level, it's fully ignored, and those will be acting as real time. So this is a way how you can have some widgets on your dashboard not to be cached, but the rest will be cached. So there's some workaround. And let's go through some questions while we load in our dashboard.
Dan, I think you had a couple that you were flagged.
Did I hear? I know I had at least a couple here that I saw. One question was about table sort preferences. Let's say that a user has if a user is sorting on a non-indexed field as the default sort for a table, does that also carry through to the to when I'm viewing that table from a report? I'm assuming yes, it probably does.
Yeah.
Just saying
if you have some fields by which you frequently sort or by which you frequently group by or filter by, it is recommended to get some indexes on it to improve the performance.
Yeah, so that's an example where like looking at the slow query logs and the like could be a very big help from our report tuning academy from a while back. So, that can
just to reemphasize again, like this is not replacing any work you as like if any of you are report admins or system admins, like we still need to do everything to optimize the query, because even when customers is on demand requesting to update, we want it to be as fast as possible. And initial load when there's no caching is done still need to be as fast as possible. So it's additional capability. We still need to work to make like this 2 minutes loading time of the dashboard. It's not okay. It's just like hopefully you don't have that slow dashboard, but on the bad day, I think probably all of us at least once had this kind of experience.
But a couple of along a similar line here that says does the cache get when the cache might get reset manually? So let's say if a user refilters the report, so that they reapply filters, does the system store a new set of, does it recache that new set? I'm assuming probably yes.
We store the cache per query. So if you change filters, it's technically a new query.
New query. Okay. That makes sense.
It will create a separate cache. So let's say in our examples, I had first this new incidents for everything, right? It was one query. Then I filter it to show only critical incidents. It was another query. So I now have two records stored in the cache table. So then whenever I go remove my filter, I still have the old cache available. If I select different priority or combination like of the priorities, it will be the third query and it will be third cache record entered, right? And it's starting it's kind of the unique hash record is based on the data visualization, the dashboard or page where it is in, and the user locale, because the time zones could be different, and the time zone itself pretty much. Mm-hmm. And that's it, I guess. And then whenever we do store right away the expression time of this cache based on the setting, you have this on the dashboard. And then whenever it getting older than the specified time, there will be job automatically will clean so we don't have this unused cache stored in the system. So we can keep this table pretty clean.
And then how would if someone just refreshes manually?
Yeah, and if if you refresh them manually, then we invalidate the old one and it will update. So this is this example invalidate. If I click refresh on the dashboard, if I click refresh just on the one widget, then we will update this record, right? And we will store, because it's the same query. We check the hash kind of this combination of the dashboard widget and query is unique. We already have such record, so we just update it with the new response when we
So
get
then if I'm a user that's just opening up a dashboard that has that was cached, say 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
but data has since changed, do I still see the cached version of it?
Yeah,
Because
you will see on top of it, like, so data refreshed 5 minutes ago, like 6 minutes ago, because this is where you cache from. The system will check the oldest cache on the dashboard. It knows that data is coming from crash, and it say like, hey, this is data from 6 minutes ago. And if you as a user say like, hey, but I do want to have to see what's happening right now, you can click the refresh button, and then all these cache records will be updated. When the next user will come in a minute, they will see your like fresher version of the cache instead of the old one.
Yeah, and I think that should also, and Stephen, you can put it in the the Q&A or the chat if it doesn't address your, but I think that addresses the question that we originally misinterpreted. So if someone is looking back at cache data and would normally update, refresh, and they update it now, does that cache update for everyone immediately? So we're saying yes, it does.
It's not like if somebody already has the dashboard open, right? They will not like real time go and push the new data to the client. But if any other users will update, like refresh their dashboard, they will get the new cache. If that makes sense. Like if they just or reopen it, like navigate back and forth. So once one person click refresh, whoever will request the same dashboard after this moment will get this fresh data. And just while we are going through the
let's ask two other quick questions real quick, and then you can move forward. So if you have filters set on the dashboard and you set up cache, but then you clear the cache, will it clear the filters, or the filters will stay on the dashboard?
Those are independent, right? The filters are saved in the user preferences. So this is a filter switch you have. So whenever you reopen dashboard, it could be done. So also when you click refresh on the dashboard, it will persist whatever filters you have. It's just like your current state, just refresh the data, not the state of the dashboard. So if you have 2 tabs and you have open tab 3, it will still keep you the same view, the same filters, the same tab open. It just will refresh the data. And in cache will refresh the cache.
And then if someone doesn't have Next Experience turned on yet, does this work in workspaces or just in Next Experience?
It doesn't matter where, like as long as it's Next Experience dashboard, you can have the settings. It doesn't matter where you consume this dashboard. It can be in the platform analytics. It could be in your specific workspace. It could be anywhere.
Okay, great. Thank you. Go ahead. We'll get back to some questions in a minute.
And just quickly to show how the settings is if you're using the UI builder or you're using the technical dashboard, which is still UI builder, how you can get the settings here. So here I have this visualization. We have the settings in the data update. We have a new settings. You have you actually have 3 settings here. In the dashboard, we have 2 settings, but here you have 3 settings. You have first use data cache, exactly the same as the dashboard. Just for this, you say for this specific visualizations, I want to use data cache. You have also new separate settings to show cache time. So this icon, if you want to show it or not, and the cache expiration time. So you can choose. You have more options. So in the here you have a drop down. So it's pretty much a predefined list. You have 1, 2, 4, 8, 12, 24 hours. Here you just can put the number which you want. You can make it 2 weeks if you want. You can. It's still like hours, so we don't now want to go below 1 hour. Again, if you have strong use case, please share. Lots of things which we do is choice just to prevent unnecessary load and to improve the usability of the feature. But if you feel like your use cases require some pushing the boundaries of the feature, please share with us so we can work on this feature more and make it better for you. And the show cache time is just we're allowed to show or hide this icon, which we have. Dated. So this icon in the dashboards, we always want to show it because especially it's a new feature. We want people never to be confused like, hey, why is data? I know that should be a different number. Why is it showing like all the data? I know I just updated it. So we do want to show for now always. Again, if you feel like after using it, you would want to have possibility to hide this this icon, please let us know as well. We can also figure it out. But we feel like in the inline dashboard is it's better to show it to make sure users have always access to this information, and it doesn't take that much of the real estate. While in the UI builder, you might have different ways how you show it because you have more flexibility. Maybe you have message on top. Maybe you want to have different way to display it. So we will allow to hide it if you want. But the rest is pretty much works the same. Quick note is that if you are keeping this empty, so it's like or 0 by default, it will be 24 hours. We have a system property which you can change the default, but it will be otherwise 24 hours by default.
And that's the same if, let's say, nobody visits the dashboard in a week, it's still going to do 24 hours.
Yeah, so we don't have, we now don't do it then more than a day again. Here in the UI builder, you can put like, I don't know, 400 hours. You can put any number of hours, and that will respect. On the dashboard, the maximum is 24 hours. Again, if you feel like you want to have bigger cache period, let us know. There's, of course, the settings is stored in the table, so you can change it not from the UI, but put different number directly to the table. But we don't really recommend it. So if you feel like that you want different numbers, you really want to go smaller, you want to have different gradients here, you want to go higher, just please share your feedback here as well. And let's go through some other questions.
Okay, so here's one. So when drilling down from a cache dashboard widget to underlining records, will those records that you go to, for example, unassigned incidents, will the list view actually have real-time records or cached?
Yeah, great question. So when you drill down to the list, it's always real-time data. So it could happen that you click on 11 and you see 12 here, right? And this is exactly why we always want to show an icon that you know that like, hey, why was it different, right? I go back, you see it's 12 here, you go back, it's like, it's 11. Let's put an icon here. So you will see the data is not kind of, is not real time. Disable it. Might have disabled, but yeah, so that's always will be the whenever you drill down to the record stays the real time always. So whenever you drill down, you always will see real data.
Okay. Are you doing something else, or I can go to another question?
Just maybe you can pick if you can pick questions for me, so I don't have to.
Sure. So how flexible is the cache data? Is it limited to specific query results from the database, or are there ways to refine, filter the cache data itself? So I'm guessing what they're saying is, even though you have particular visualizations on your dashboard and maybe some filters set on that dashboard and the cache itself is created, could you actually get to that cache record per se and do anything more with that? Or would it be exactly what it is on whatever settings are set on the dashboard itself?
It's, I mean, the data is stored in the cache in the format how data visualization needs it. And we have hashed version of the query plus full query related to it. You would need, and the regular user cannot access to this table. You can't report on this table. The admin have access to this table only. Because it stores the data, right? So we like you pretty much shouldn't do anything else with, like, it's designed to just visualization to work with this table. You shouldn't be going to this table to do something else with it. If
Okay.
there's a use case, yeah, please share those. We can figure out. But it's right now it's just for the data visualizations, and we will be looking to make the cache mechanism available for the other things in the future. But at this moment, it's just for the data visualizations.
Okay, and then the second part of this one question has been answered, but the first part is, could this cache table be a bottleneck if you have cache active for many dashboards?
We tested, like, we did a pretty heavy load test with a lot. It's pretty optimized table, and the way how we querying from it, we couldn't make it a bottleneck. Let's put it this way.
Nice.
Like, it shouldn't be a bottleneck. So even if it's for a lot of dashboard, we tried like a lot of queries with really populated with the millions of data. It was still very fast. I mean, of course, it could be like now you see it loads within like few seconds the dashboard. Maybe it will be 3 seconds if the table significantly grow, but it's still like it's indexed well, and so it shouldn't be really a bottleneck.
Okay, and are there any specific performance implications of setting or changing the cache itself? Like, were you able to find anything?
It will be faster for you. It will be exactly faster. It's like there's no negative implications. It's
Good.
only positive. So the only negative implication is that it's UX implication, right? Like when you open, your data might not be as of right now when you open it. So it's a behavioral change. So you'll need to like inform users that, hey, notice this icon is new. Like, this is what we did. Because if you don't tell them, they might not pay attention, right? And they might think it's real, but real time, but it's not really. So only from that perspective, once user is aware how it works, it's fine. And I guess if your users do need live data all the time, and they will be just every users will open the dashboard, it loads fast, but they click refresh button afterwards, then you kind of losing the point. So you just make life of your users slightly harder because they need to do an extra click. So that's why I say if it's really requires real time and your users do need data as of now, maybe then it's shouldn't be considered use, or it should be really small cache. Like if they're okay with 1 hour, it should be just 1 hour, right?
Okay, and to revisit this question, I think it was answered earlier, but maybe someone missed it. Will the caching work in workspaces as well?
Yeah. So if you have Next Experience dashboard in your workspace, the cache will work there as well. And if you want to enable it just on the individual data visualizations for your workspace, you can enable it in the UIB as well. Yeah.
And is there a specific plugin?
Yeah, let's go to the plugin quickly before people start dropping. Let me share. So how to activate? So as a prerequisite, you would need to be using the Next Experience dashboard, whether it's Platform Analytics Experience or in your workspace, wherever you're using it. You need to be on the Washington release. And in addition, the functionality is available in our store in the February store release. You will need to install 2 store apps. It can be also installed from your plugin. If you're an admin, you go to the plugin list, you search for data visualizations. It will be version 25. The new version should be available for you, and you can install that if you're on the Washington release. And you and I see I have a type of Platform Analytics. You search for Platform Analytics, and there will be a version 4.1. You install 2. So you need to update two plugins, and then the functionality will be available. You will see new setting on the dashboard and new settings in the data visualizations on the in the UI builder. If you are super excited to try it, just don't download those today. So we have a new version of the Platform Analytics coming later today. So start playing with it starting from tomorrow. But please start playing with it and share any feedback with us, can reach out anytime if there's questions, and we can figure out, because we're really curious to hear the feedback of real life work with it and see if there's any things you would like to be improved.
Okay, and then the last one that we have is, when it comes to the cache table, does normal ACLs apply to the data, i.e. can admins see HR data if they do not have HR admin roles?
So before, whenever we check the query, so when we check the, based on the query, we check before returning results to the users, we are checking the standard ACL. So we check in this regular read ACLs, we check report on ACLs, not report on, the report view ACLs on this. So if customer doesn't have access to view specific table or view aggregate data on the specific table, they will have the same error that you don't have access to this information, the same as it was for the non-cache data. So there is no implication on the security. The security stays exactly as it is today with the non-cache data.
Okay, great, thank you.
And the dashboard is, the question is caching available for the regular dashboard as well, or just for PA dashboards? So the caching only available for this next experience inline dashboards.
I think, yeah, that was kind of similar. Yeah, because the idea is it's not necessary, because PA isn't a specific dashboard in Next Experience. It's, you know, they're all the same between, but it's the inline editor specific. And what you're saying there too is it does not include like any dashboard content that is on another workspace page, like an embedded data visualization. Is that correct?
Yeah. And again, just to reiterate, as of now, it's only for the visualization based on the table data. So it's like what we call reports in the classic. As of now,
yeah.
If it's based on the usage data or based on the performance analytics indicators, the caching is not there yet. Will be a bit later. And the other question we have is, does it only use report view or also read ACL, since report view can't use advanced scripting? So it uses both. It's the same as for the regular, like when you run visualization without the caching. So we're checking also read ACLs by default. So if you don't have read ACLs, you cannot see the data as well.
Okay, great.
Can we quickly have one more poll?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I'll add that now. Should be there.
After hearing all about the functionality and seeing it a little bit, do you have some dashboard in mind in your organization that you think you would try to enable caching?
And I don't know if this is a follow-up. If you see that, Olga, is this affected by report view ACLs?
It's two separate ACL, so I think as far as I remember, it's add on top of another. We check both. Great.
That's really good feedback. It's really good feedback.
And again, once you played with it, if you have any feedback going forward, please share with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Olga. This was a good one. And just based on the feedback that we're getting, even in the polls and the questions, a very heavy question day, which is awesome. This is really good stuff that sets us up, as a company, for really good feedback from people, obviously. So this is really good. So thank you very much. I appreciate the presentation and the demo and the answering questions. And for the sake of time, I do have someone else that wants to speak here in a second. So let me go ahead and close this out. If some other questions come in, Dan, Olga, RJ, see if you might be able to get to those.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye.
Yep. Thank you. So as usual, make sure that you're checking out our community page. We put a lot of great stuff out there. If you're aware of that, use that. Really good stuff. And also make sure that you're checking out the community page as it relates to the academies, to see the future ones and also the previous ones that we have. So I believe we're at 5 years strong, one of the longer academy sessions that's within the company. So we have a lot of content that's out there. Make sure that you're looking at Now Learning, really good stuff that's getting, there's new stuff getting added to that all the time, especially some things as it relates to next experience. So make sure you utilize that. And then also, Platform Analytics, which is sort of the branding that we're going to now with, which encompasses everything. There are some great how-to videos, what is videos, what happens next, before, after type things, really quick hitter videos that are out there. So make sure that you check that out. That'll help you within your journey in Platform Analytics. And with that, Diego, you're still here, right?
I am.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and speak to this slide, because this one's yours.
Indeed, thank you so much. Well, I'll try to be quick. As you heard Olga saying right at the beginning, this entire story about dashboard caching began from the feedback that we got from customers, and even how the tiny icons show up and the information that is provided ended up being decided thanks to the feedback that you ended up providing during the design of this feature. I believe that some of you that participated are even in this call. So yeah, as you know, establishing and keeping this relationship or this interaction with you, it's important for us in ServiceNow. And yeah, I bring you today the possibility or an invitation to further this interaction. We are currently running a couple of feedback initiatives, you may call them, and one of them is this survey that I'm advertising here. Essentially, we are trying to map what matters the most to you in your analytics experience, be it if you are creating some analytics content for your company, be it if you are consuming. You may have already participated in this initiative. I recognize some of the names, and thank you so much for your participation. If you didn't, I invite you to participate. I'll share also the link to the survey in the chat. And yeah, if you have any comments, any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. I believe you should reach out to any of the other panelists that they might also be able to help, or at least to redirect you to me. And yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We get really good numbers in here, so I expect that you'll get plenty of people. So super excited about that. Thank you. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about Platform Analytics Migration Center. So this is something that we hit this late last year, but we feel it's important with the Washington release to go ahead and hit this again. There'll be a little bit of changes. Marta has updated some things, but this is what we'll do in 2 weeks. And as usual, thank you for everybody that's come, that comes to it. We really appreciate you coming and taking advantage of these. Olga, super thank you to you for doing the presentation and the demo, and then RJ and Dan for being here to answer questions. Thank you all. Have a great next couple of weeks, and we'll see everybody then. Later.